Record. And then I'll talk about the popular tools, which I believe most of you should be aware. Then we'll talk about Power BI Desktop, and then we move right away into just 2 or 3 slides more, and then we'll move into the hands-on where we so these are obviously is actually impractical for me to teach everything about. In fact, no one can teach everything about something, but to go in depth into Power BI in just 2 hours class. But I'm going to try as much as possible to touch the all the different aspects, at least just a little bit of them, how to connect to data source, the different data types. We'll do some data cleaning in Power BI. We'll do some DAX writing, simple DAX expression, how to create measures, create a new table. In fact, if you are coming from, I heard someone saying it's coming from computer science, I can show you how we can connect MySQL or Power BI to load data from each of these ones. If you are, Python, if you are familiar with Python, we'll talk about we'll look at how to connect, how to bring in our data, filter it using Python, and inside Power BI, everything inside Power BI. I won't go into details, but so if you want to, proceed from here, obviously we have a course coming on next week. It's a 3.5 months course on data analytics with Excel, MySQL, Power BI, and Python. But yeah, but I'll just give you a taste of it. Then we'll see how to join tables and create dashboard. I'm seriously hoping we'll get this done in 2 hours. I'm seriously hoping. Okay, so just to introduce data analytics, I believe it involves analyzing your data with a single purpose in mind. The main purpose is actually to make informed business decisions. That's the starting point. Okay, so we're only using Power BI, Python, Excel, MySQL, or different SQL as a tool to analyze the data. The main thing is business decision, business problem. That's the starting point. That's what you should bear in mind. We're only using all of these different tools to achieve this single goal. Okay, so it all starts with formulating the business problem, and then actually having the right. I'm making an assumption that you already have the data. You don't have to scrape the data online. You already have the data in your organization. Your organization has it either stored in a database, or the database administrator can export it and give it to you as either in Excel or CSV. CSV stands for comma separated values. Okay, so I'm making the assumption that you have the data. So we formulate a business problem. Most of the time, the top managers, they don't really formulate the right business problem. They give you a very wide business problem. You have to reformulate it in such a way that your data must be able to answer that question. Okay, so that's what I mean by this. Then we choose the right tools. We choose the right tools. Okay, we choose the right tools to analyze this data, which could be either Excel, MySQL. So we'll look at that. How do you choose the right tool to analyze this data? Okay, and then you start your most data will come messy and dirty. So in fact, 90% of your time will be spent on cleaning and transforming data, even visualizing, then making decisions, or even visualizing. Visualizing will spend like maybe 2 minutes of your time, but 90% of your time will be on cleaning and transforming data. Building data models, those are the simplest part if the cleaning and transforming of the data has been taken care of. Okay, so these are the popular tools: Excel, MySQL, Tableau. Power BI and Tableau actually achieve the same thing, but Power BI is growing in popularity than Tableau. So if you ask me, which one should I go for in Power BI and Tableau, I would say Power BI, because Power BI Desktop is free and it can accomplish almost everything you need. Tableau is not free, even though there is a version for the Tableau public, but that one is dangerous because everything you are doing on your system in Tableau public is online, and anybody anywhere can actually have access to it. So you can't do sensitive stuff on it. But Power BI Desktop, you can use it for your organization stuff. And if your organization have Power BI account for each one, you can share your work with others by just clicking the share button on the Power BI Desktop. And we can use Python too. So to make everything programmatic so that we don't have to keep doing the same thing every time I bring in the data, the separate data or similar data, we can do that in Python. We can create functions. We can do all of that that all we need every time is just to click that function. It does everything for us. We don't have to keep doing it again from beginning like Excel or Power BI. So, let's talk about Power BI Desktop. I'm trying to move a little bit faster so that we can get to the hands-on. Okay, there are 3 separate views. I will show you when you launch your Power BI. If you're not familiar with this, there are 3 views, 3 aspects of Power BI Desktop. We have the part that deals with the data. We have the part where the model is just where you create relationships between the different tables in your data, and the report view is where you create the visualizations. Okay, so this is basically what we're going to look at today. All of this, connecting to different data sources, cleaning and transforming our data. We can, if time permits, we'll see how to join the data, create relationships, tables, and visualizations. Okay, so I don't know if you have any question that you want to ask before we start the hands-on. Any question? Are we good? Hello?
Yeah, we can carry on.
Yeah,
okay,
we're good.
Yeah.
All right. So if you have, did any one of you try to download the data? Do you see the data I'm talking of on your portal on Highly Tech student portal? I don't know if you have access to that. If you do, you can download.
How do we access the student portal, sir?
Yeah. So let's say I go to Highly Tech. So you can see my screen, right? So just log in. So I'm logging in as a student right now. So if you log in, go to your courses. For you, you may see this analytics with Power BI, click it. And so you'll see something like this. So just click the view file.
Okay.
Yeah, just click the view file. And then it will download. Once you click it, it's going to download on your system as a zip folder. Okay. All right. So, okay, so I think I can start right now. Can you see my Power BI? Can you, if you want to follow along, you can just launch it. You can just type Power BI Desktop, and then you'll be able to, and then click on it. So if you type Power BI Desktop, so you can just click the Power BI Desktop and it's going to load. Let me try to see so that we can, let me load this guy again so that we can have access. Power BI Desktop. So when you click it, is what it's going to show. Can you see? Yeah. So this is what it's going to show you when you first launch it. Are you all here with me?
Yeah.
Please, I would like your feedback so that I don't assume, so that I can move along with you. Are we together here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what you can do next is you can click on get data. If you have been using it, you can click on recent sources, but let's close that. So the first thing I want to talk about is how to connect to your different data sources, okay? So if you click this get data button up here, I'm hovering on it so that you can see that. So click this get data, and we're going to have the different sources, okay? So we're going to have the different sources, something like this. So this gives us opportunity to, if you want to connect to Excel, like the data I gave you, Excel workbook, so you can click on this. If it's a CSV, you can click on CSV, the XML, and and if it's a database, suppose we want to connect to our SQL database. So let's say my SQL, I'll click this, and then I will scroll down to where I have my SQL database, and then I can click connect. But since what I want is Excel, so let's click this. So I want my I actually want to connect to Excel, so I'll click Excel workbook and then click connect. So when I do that, it's going to actually pop a window on your computer. So you need to know the folder where you, maybe it's inside your download folder or your desktop. This is set to my desktop, but you can, if suppose the data is on your download, you can just scroll up and click download. So mine is on the desktop. This is actually the data I gave you. I gave you these three data, these country pops, growth rate, and sample store. Sample store is what we use later to create a visualization. But for cleaning data, I want to actually use these two data, but I will load them one by one just so you to see. Okay, I can load them all together. So, but I'll click the country pop and then click open. Okay, so it's loading. And then you can see, can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So the data actually want to load at the different continents data. Is about population for the different continent, the percent of population based on worldwide ratio. So I'll pick the Africa, Antarctica, and so on like that. So I'm going to pick all of the different continents. Okay, so let me pick Africa. And then, so once you pick one, even if I don't click, if I just click this, it's going to give me a preview of what the data is about. So I can say we have flag, name, capital, status, and something called key. But if I want to load it, I have to click this icon here so that you can say, once I click that, this is highlighted. I also want the Antarctica. So they're almost the same thing, flag, name, capital, status, and key. They have the same columns. Now, why do I want to show you this particular one? Now, this is because in most times, suppose you're working with a manufacturing firm, some of, like, you can have, so you can have, you can actually have, let's say you have different plants in your manufacturing firm, so that gives the same information, but they have different plants. So, and then they supply all of this to you as a data analyst. You may want to bring all of them together. Or suppose you have a transaction data for different years, and you want to analyze the data for your organization. You want to analyze this data for your organization to compare the progress your company is making for the different years. So you might need to bring all of these into a single table so that you can make that comparison. So that's why I'm using this example. Yeah. Sorry, it seems some people are having issue joining. I don't know. I don't know why. sorry, does it show you any, when you're trying to join, does it show you that, give you any problem to join? Some people are saying they cannot join. It's asking something. How can we help? Mr. Biola, you just joined with the link you have, right?
Yes, sir, I did.
So what's going on?
And there was no issue joining. It was so easy for me.
Yeah. So
There was no issue trying to join the meeting. Oh.
yeah, someone was telling me it's sending me a screenshot that. Okay, so sorry, give me a minute just to give them instruction what to do. Okay. Okay, yeah. So this is why I'm using this example so that we can make, like, since we have the same information across the continents, we may want to compare the population for the different continents, just like you want to compare the sales for the different years or the different months, or you want to compare the production across the different plants. So we so we may actually, so you may need to bring all the data together. So, okay, so I'm using all the content, they have exactly the same information. So I'll click all the 7 continents I want to look at: Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Europe, North America, Oceania, and South America. Then normally, if your data is clean, your data is okay, you can just click load. I mean, and then, but it's just that most times data are dirty. So, I mean, you can do it both ways. You can do it both ways. You can decide to click load, and then later, if you find anything wrong, you transform it. But most times, you can just go to transform data directly. Okay? So once you click transform data, we'll clean it there. And when we are done with the cleaning, we can now transform the data. Okay. So let me do, we can now load the data. So I will just click transform. Now, when I click transform, note what you have here. It shows Power Query Editor. Okay. So Power Query is the part of PowerBI Desktop or Power BI that you use. They call it the kitchen of Power BI, meaning that's where you do all of the cleaning. That's where you do all of the transforming of your data. That's where you undo the data cleaning aspect or the data transformation. Once you just click that transform, it opens what we call Power Query Editor. So when you hear people talk about Power Query, it's nothing more but just a part of the Power BI where you clean and transform your data. That's all. Okay, so we have all of the data here, Africa and all of that. So what I basically want to do is to clean this data and then combine them into a single table, okay, because they have the same information. Just like how you're going to have transactions data, which across the 5 years or 10 years, they will actually carry the same information, but different rules. But the columns are going to be the same in terms of maybe the names of the customers, the products they bought, and all of those things. Those things will be the same. But what will be different will be the values in the rules, right? So we may want to combine them so that we can actually compare them later. Now, notice what Power BI is doing. You see green across some rows, you see something here. If you hover on it, see, it tells us something is going on here. So if I just leave it on this guy, it says 0% valid, 0% error, but all this column is empty. That's why it's 100% empty. So what I want to do, I want to remove that because it does nothing. So just right click. Let me do that again. Right click and then click remove. That will remove that column. Immediately you do that, notice what you have on the right-hand side. It gives us, it's recording the steps. You want to ask a question?
No, I'm following you.
Yeah, so immediately we did that, it actually record the steps for us, removed columns. Now, we can leave it this way, and if I click on it, it's going to reverse the something for me back. You can see it reversed the step back. So I can click remove. We can even rename it to make it informative so that next time we come here, we know what we did. So I usually tell people to do that. So rename, you can tell it what you rename. You rename the flag. I mean, we remove the flag column, right? That's what we did. So you can rename that. It's not a must. It's just for you. I also want to do that for the status because it's empty. I'll remove it. Okay. Now this is my key. It's more like the index column for my data. I want it to be at the beginning of the column, so I can right click, come to move it to the beginning. You see that? So when I do that, it moves it to the beginning. Sorry, are you guys with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just bear with me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what we want to do now, we want to do this same thing for all of the remaining 6 because they have the same thing. Now, this is where programming is good. Suppose I'm using Python now. I can put these 3 steps in a single function, and I will not need to be doing this manually for all the 6. Okay, so but we're in Power BI. Okay, we have to. So I will do the same thing, remove the flag, remove the status because I don't actually need it. And then I will send I noticed there's something I want to do, which I didn't. So I'll move this key to the beginning. Now let me move back to Africa. What I want to do, I also want to add a column because at the end, I want to combine all of these tables. So I want to add a column at the side of this capital that will show the continent this belongs to. Remember, this is Africa. So I'll click on this and click add column. Do you see add column after transform? Click add column, and then you can click custom column. Add column, custom column. So once you click that, it tells us what is the name of the column. I want to call it continent. Okay. And then what should be in the rows? That's what this means. Custom column formula. It means what should be in the rows. The rows, since this is about Africa, I will write Africa. And then once I click OK, you see that now I have a column called continent and all the rows are now Africa. I will do this for all of them because in the end, I've shown you what I want to do at the end. I want to combine all of this together. So that's why I want to differentiate the data that comes from Africa, from Antarctica, like that, and so on. So that's what I'm doing. You need to know why you are doing it, okay? So this is why I'm doing it. It's based on what I want to do. That determines what I'm trying to do. That determines the steps I'm taking now. Please, at any point you want to ask a question, please feel free to ask, please. So we did that for Antarctica, but I will add another column.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
And so I want to ask a question. So this cleaning of data that you're doing on Power BI, can I do it straight on Excel then load straight on Power BI instead of doing it cleaning data on Power BI straight?
Yes, you can do that. Yes. It's just that personally, I find Excel sometimes time consuming. So, and then I may not know the steps, like I may not be able to reverse some things in Excel because I don't know what I did. But if you are very vast in Excel, I think that will be an advantage for you, Power BI. So you can do that. Yeah. But you just notice that there are some things that you may take, that may take some more time on Excel compared to Power BI. And you'll see that as we go. So, but it's up to you. Yes. All right. So I'll do the same thing. Yeah, click the add column, then the custom column, and I will do the same thing, continent. And then, so this is Antarctica. I'll do Antarctica. Okay. And then I'll click OK. So that does the same thing for us. Okay. I'll do Asia. I'm still going to put all of this data together. Remember, that's where we are going. So the same thing, I'll remove the flag. This is boring because you're doing the same thing. Okay, so but that's what I want to do. Okay, so we move this to the beginning, and then we had another column. I'm a little bit fast now since I'm doing the same thing. Continents, and then I will add Asia. Right, so we're doing exactly the same thing. Europe. So we remove this, we remove the status, we move this to the beginning, and then we had a new column called custom. We named these continents, and then we had what we want to use to fill the rows, which is Europe. Okay, and then we do the same thing for North America. We're almost there. Personally, coming from the background of programming, I hate manual things, but you know. So capital, then we had a column called continent, just how we did for that one. And then we put what we want to put there, that's North America, just the same as the table name, right? So, and then, so we're almost there. Oceania, this is Oceania. We remove the status too. We send this guy to the beginning, and then we add a column called Oceania. So the continent, this is continent, and this is Oceania. Sorry, I think someone is trying to join. Okay. Okay, so the last one, flag, status, move this guy to the beginning. And then we had a custom column. Okay. And then what do we do? Because South America. All right, so now we have all of the data. I mean, so now the next thing now, which is what I want to show, the purpose of doing all of this is to combine them, put them in a single table. Okay, so what I would do, I can decide to create a new table, but I can just duplicate one of it. Let's say Africa. So I can just click duplicate to just duplicate the column. Since I want to add all of the other tables, so I can rename this guy called, let's call it all countries. Remember the end goal. The end goal is to combine all of this together. So since all countries involve Africa, so I can just combine the remaining ones to read. So how do I do that? So I have the all countries. So what I can do, let's go to the home tab. So in the home tab, you will have append. You have append and merge. They are two different things. So append is where you have the same columns across all of the columns and across all of the different tables. And you want to combine their rows together. That's when you use append queries. Merge is when you don't necessarily have the same column. You want to use what we call join. In SQL, there's something we call join. You have the different type of join, but I won't go into the details of that. Okay, so in merge, you may not necessarily have the same column, but you will have something, a key column that you can use to merge the tables together. That's when you use merge. But in append, you have the same columns across all the different tables. What we want to combine are their rows. And that's the essence why we are creating the continent, so that we can separate what the data coming from Africa, just like how you create data coming from a so manufacturing plant, another manufacturing plant. That's exactly what we're doing. So I want to combine their rows, so I will use append queries. Okay, because I already have a single table. Suppose I did not duplicate, I could have clicked append queries as new. So that will create a new table for me like this. But since I already have duplicate, I'll just click append queries. Now, he's asking me, he says, say, concatenate rules, do you see, from two tables into a single table. We can do 3 or more. and just append the remaining ones. So I can just click this, hold my Shift Tab button, and click South America. That will highlight everything. Am I too fast?
No, go ahead.
Okay, then we'll click Add. You can see that adds everything. We're adding it to the all countries because we already have Africa. That's why I didn't click. You remember all countries came from Africa. All countries came from Africa. Yeah. So, and then we'll click OK. Click OK. Sorry, please. Let me see if I can. Someone is asking me for the meeting link again. Okay. All right. So do we get it up to this point? So if you scroll down, see, now we have Africa, we have Antarctica, we have Europe, we have all of them. You see that? And if you want to count the number of your rows, you can easily do that. If you come to this I think, yeah, if you come to your transform, you can click count rows. If you click count rows, see, it's going to count the rows for me. I have 269, but that's not what I need. Okay, so I just actually cancel that step. So now I have achieved the first step, which is putting all of my tables together in one place. Any question up to this point?
No.
Any question up to this point?
No.
Okay. So now I want you to look at this key, watch the keys as I'm scrolling down and see if everything is okay. The key column. Does anybody observe anything?
Yes.
Okay.
The numbers doesn't they don't align because when you get to
Exactly.
59,
The number
you start
doesn't
again from
align.
1. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. The number doesn't align. After 1 to 59, start again. That's because, remember, we put Antarctica, so it gives you the number of rows there, which is 1 to 4, and then it start again with Asia. So that doesn't make sense. Another thing is the data type. Look at when you see ABC, ABC means text. But when you see 1, 2, 3 means whole number, but this is saying continent has both text and number. So you need to fix the data type to text. You need to click text, click this, that fix the data type. You can see it said change data type. So that has been done. So we need to take care of this key column. In fact, I will remove it. So I will now add a new column called index column. So I will click add column. Instead of clicking custom column, I'll click index column. Okay. So now I can, if I want the row of that column to start from 0, I'll click from 0. I could click from 1, which is what I want to do. And I can actually click custom to customize it the way I want. Suppose I want the column to start from 10 and I want to increase it by 5, like 10, 15, 20. I can do that in the custom column. But what I want it to start from 1 and I want an increment of 1, like 1, 2, 3, like that. I could have just done it from 1, but I just showed you this so that you can see how to customize your column. Then you click OK. And then we can move into the beginning like we did that time. So you can see we have now everything seems okay, right? So This is it. So that's this first part of the training, how to bring all of the data in the different tables, which are saying exactly the same thing. For the purpose of comparison, we are putting them together in one place, merging them, appending their rows together, changing some of the data types and so on. So suppose we are done, we can go back to the Home tab and click Close and Apply. So when you click that, you click Close and Apply. So meaning close means I want to go back to the PowerBI Desktop. I want to leave the Power Query Editor, and I want you to apply all of the changes. All of the things we have done, PowerBI Desktop has actually not applied them. Okay, so but is when we want to apply it and close it, we click Close and Apply. It's going to load them, you see, load. So he's applying all of the changes. You can say loading data to model, like that. And then once it's done, it's going to can say now it's done. Now we have the all countries data. So now I talked about the data view, the model view, and the report view. The one that looks like table is the data view. Okay, so you see all of the things we've done in the Power Query. I want all countries. So you see all of the things we've done. You can see Antarctica, Asia. This is the model view. Okay, this is where we create relationship. Power BI automatically detect the relationship between the all countries from the 7 different continents. I can remove, right? So you can reduce it so that you can see. Now, it automatically sees detected because, I mean, we created the all country from the 07. So this is not surprising, right? So we created it from it. So it's telling us, okay, this is connected to this and all of that. Although we'll deal with that later. So that is that. In fact, I don't actually need all of the 7 data tables again. I only need all countries. So I can remove this relationship by clicking delete. And Power BI will ask me if I want to delete them because I don't need the relationship. I don't actually need it. So I can right click, delete, right click, delete, right click, delete, then delete, and the last one, delete. Okay, so now what I want actually is, I still have other table. Remember I gave you another data, so we can load that in now. Okay, so what we're going to do right now, let's go to get data again and click Excel workbook, just like how we did. So then I will load the country pops and the growth rate later. So let's go to country pops. And okay, that's what we loaded. So I'll click growth rates. Yeah, so growth rates. Now, what I need in the growth rate is this population by country and the population growth rates. So I need these two. So let's transform and see if there is anything that we want to transform here. Now, is anything wrong in the data type? Is anything wrong in the data type? What do you think?
I think the rate is not, the numbering is not serially.
Okay.
There's something negative.
Good. So now watch. You see, it's showing ABC, which is text, and this is actually a decimal, right? So let's fix the data type first. Let's put decimal. We have decimal number here. But immediately I want to add it as a new step. Immediately I did that, what do you observe? It's showing error in some places. Let me read. Note the number, line 4 and line 18. So let me undo it. See, line 4. Is complaining about this negative sign. But is it a negative sign? Actually, this doesn't appear as a negative, as a minus sign. This line looks bigger than minus sign. Watch. So what we're going to do right now, let's replace this line looks like it looks longer than the minus sign. So let's actually replace everywhere it sees this line as a minus sign. So we can do that in the transform data. So I can click replace values here, but since I don't know if I have this symbol in my desktop, I can just click this single row and click replace values. So what I want to replace is not the number, but is the sign. I want to replace this line with the minus sign. So do you see the difference between the line? It's not actually minus sign. Do you see that? Yeah.
Like
so
a dash.
Exactly, it's a dash. So then you click OK. Now, can you see that the line is? So let's try now to put it at decimal and see if we're going to have error. You see that no error again.
Okay.
So I've just shown you how to fix data types. So this is actually what we call data transformation. We're trying to and we are also validating the data. It's called data quality, data transfer. When you hear them using those different terms, this is what it means. Okay. So now that we have fixed this, let's check the population by country. Okay. So population by country. Okay, no, I think that's one we have created the all countries from. So we are good. I'm so sorry. I think we just loaded this population by country, right? Yeah. Okay. Now look at this population by country. I don't think anything is wrong. We have the rank, the ABC, the text, data type, 1, 2, 3. Okay, this look at date. It's showing text for date, but actually it should be a date, right? So click it, you have date here. You have date time, you have date, but there's no information about time in this column. So we just click date. This, and then you can see it formatted in the date form for us. This percent, and this is fine. This is text for socks. This is fine. Okay. So if we're okay with this, we can, we can just close and apply all of this that we've done. Okay, so let's do that. Oh, apply. Okay, yeah, it's doing that. So now let me scroll here. So you can see PowerBI automatically detect the relationship between this. It's telling me maybe it's using the rank, but actually, I actually don't need the rank to connect this because I could remove the rank. So what I want to use, I want to connect them with all countries. And there's no way to connect with all countries if you're using rank. So let me delete this relationship. Now, if you check the all countries, let me show you that all countries again in the data view. Do you notice the name is for the country names? Okay, let's check population by country. Do you see country is also referring to the same country names? Population growth, country is also referring to the country names. So we can use that to join them in. We can use that to create relationship in the model view. This is the model view. So what we'll do now, let me make this big so that you can see my screen. Can you?
Yeah.
So we can just drag the name now to the country in population by country. This is how to create relationship. Drag it, the name, and go and put it over the country, the column that you want to use to match them. So once you click that, you can see a connection is being drawn. The same thing, I'll click the name here and put it here. And see a connection. Now we have created relationship between these three. So why are we creating relationship? So that we may be able now to actually ask different questions across this table. In fact, we can even later merge the three tables to become one if we want to. That's the join. Remember when I showed you how to append rows, I showed you the merge queries. And I was saying you can use it to join tables that may not necessarily have the same columns. We can do that between these three columns. We can merge them together if we want to. Okay, so now, we can, suppose we want to merge them together, we can do that now because we have a relationship between them. So if I go back to the data view, if I go back to the, let me go to see the report view. If I click transform data, I can later go back to merge them together. Like I can merge the all countries. The data I need is the all countries, the population by country and growth rate. Now this is optional. This is optional. We don't have to do that. But suppose now we want to merge these all countries with the population by country. I can just click merge queries instead of append. Remember, we use append to combine the rows, but merge is for combining tables across the column. So I can click merge queries. I want to click merge queries as new because I want to create a new table. Are you with me?
Yeah.
I'll click. What? Okay. Merge queries. You didn't get what? Please go ahead.
I didn't get from
Which
the
one?
other, this other table you are opening.
I think, which one? Is it the relationships I created?
After the relationship you created.
Yeah, I'm
Then
not opening anything. I just click, you can click any table. I just click the table, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, then just come here and merge query. Remember why we are merging query? It's optional. Is if we want to combine these three tables together. Why do you think we can combine these three tables together? Anybody? Why do you think we can now combine these three tables together?
Think so that we can get the adequate data and saved time.
Yeah, but why do you think it will be possible to combine the three of them? Why is it possible now?
Because
They carry
I
the
think
same ID.
they all have countries in columns, right?
Thank you very much, sir. Because that was why we created the relationship. If we had not created the relationship, we
Country
would not
names.
be able to merge them because now they have a shared column together. All countries have name, which is the same thing as the country in population by country, which is the same thing as the country in population by group. So we can combine it if we want. Okay, so if I come to merge, it's not a must, but remember, it's not a must. But suppose that's what we want to do. We can now click merge queries as name. So now it's telling me, okay, you are currently in the all countries. Select which table you want to merge it with. Suppose I click population by country. See, I need to tell Power BI that what column am I using to merge? So I'll click the name and I'll click the country. Immediately I click that, look at what it tells me. It said, okay. It said, the result of doing this will only give me the result of 236 of 269 rows from the table. That means that in my population by country, there could be some rows that do not really match any country, any name of the country in the all countries. Well, that was why I click all countries for, because I know all of the columns in the all countries, all of the names there are actually valid country names. That was why I started with all countries actually. Okay, but it's possible that in the population by country to have some names to just correspond to region and not really country names. Okay, now look at what it tells me. It's giving me options of the different kind of join. In the course I told you we are starting next week. If you join we're going to talk about the join and all of that. In fact, I'm not even the guy taking the Power BI. I'm the guy taking the Python part of it. But we'll go into the details on the different types of join. But let me just tell you what this means. The left outer join means, it even tells us what it means. See, it said, it's going to return everything from the first column, that's from the all countries, and then it will only return the matching rows from the second column. You can see that's actually what left outer means. It means return, or I want every columns in the right and all the rows, and I only want rows in the second table that matches the first. So if I'm okay with this, I'll click OK, and then you can see it creates a new table for me. The table, that's because we picked merge queries as new. So the table contains all of the columns from the all countries, but look at inside of the second table, it's showing is a table. So what we can do, click this guy and select the columns we need. We don't actually need rank. We don't need country because we've now merged, otherwise there will be double, there'll be two columns, same thing exactly. So we need the population, we need the date, we need the percent of what population. We don't need the source actually. So if I click OK, now see, I have those three. And look at what Power BI is telling me. It's telling me this population is coming from this table, population by country. You can edit it if you want to rename. You can either double click or you right click and click rename if you want to. It's your choice. Now let's merge the third one. this is population by growth. So we still go back and click match queries, but we will not click match queries as new now because we want to combine the third table inside this table. You just click match queries. And then say we are now in merge one, which we will still rename, and then we want to merge it with the population growth rate. Now we still have to click the column that we want to use. Now it tells me this will result in 221. That means there are some columns in the country that doesn't match the merge one. So still we still want the left outer, okay? And then if I click this guy now, the same thing, we can now click this and select the columns we need. We don't need the rank and the country. We only need the population growth rate. Okay, because remember we already have the country as name here. We don't really need the rank. So if I click OK, and now this. Suppose I just want to, I only want the population growth rate. I can either right click or rename. Okay. Any questions so far? And am I too fast? Any questions so far? Is it clear so far?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. All right. So this is it. And we can right click this guy and rename. Let's say we name it all countries by population data. So, and then we can close and apply. So suppose we now want to build dashboard, but this, I will just show you one, but this is not what I want to use. I'll quickly launch the, close this and launch it again to use the sample store that we want to use. So, but suppose now we want to do it. In fact, I don't even need all of this other country, all of this other table here. Since I don't, you can see now, because I left them, PowerBI is still detecting a connection here. So I can delete this guy, delete it, okay? And then if I don't want to, I don't really want to be seeing this, I can hide it. I can delete it or hide it from the report view. I can just hide them from the report view so that it doesn't show those tables. I want it to only show the tables I want to use in my report. So you can right click and hide them so that you won't see it, and people you are sharing this Power BI, your view with will not actually see. So that's what we're doing. It's not a must. So if we go back to the report view now, you can see we now have all of these tables we need. We don't even need the all countries. I can do it from here too. I can hide it. Okay, I think I already did that. Okay, so now we have this. Suppose I want, the main one I want to use is this all countries actually. So, but I will not build visualization from here, but suppose you want to do that. So excuse me for a minute. Sorry, excuse me for a minute. Okay, so suppose I just want to check, let's say, the continents. All you just need to do is to do, this guy, you can see, is showing me the different continents. And suppose I want to show the population by different continent, I can just come to this population and then do this. Now, what is it doing? It's giving me the population for the different continent using circle, meaning as the size. If you go down here, you will see that the bigger the circle, the more the population. So this is saying Asia has this large amount of population compared to Africa and so on. So this is this is how we do visualization and all of that. But to really create this dashboard, because this data doesn't have much information, I specifically use it to teach transformation. I'm going to close it and use the sample store, that the last data I shared with you. Are we good?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. So let me close this and let me close it and relaunch it. So if I want to save all of that, I can click save. So you can click save if you want to, but I don't actually need it. That's why I'm clicking don't save. But so let me relaunch it. Power BI Desktop. Okay, so I don't need this. So the same process will get data is an Excel workbook sample store. So if you click that, it's going to show me, it's going to load that, and then you see the sample store. So you can preview it, missing, this is not the table I want, others, this looks like what I want to load. So that this is a transaction data, okay? Someone has a question? Okay, so this is a transaction data, and that's the one I want to use, okay? Others is still saying the same thing. Let's see people, that's not what I need. Returns, that's not what I need. So is this others, I can choose load or transform to check if everything is okay and undo that way. So let's click transform and see if everything is fine. So we have the row ID, the order ID, order dates, and all of this. Let's see, is everything okay? It looks pretty okay. Okay. Now, so I can close and apply. So this data is not dirty. So that was why I used the other one to show you how to transform data. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. So now we've loaded it. So if we go to the data view, this is our data. These are data. Now, I came up with some questions I want us to use to, because I believe it all starts with a question. So our goal is to build a sales report. And the key questions we want to answer in our data is this. Why am I showing you this? Remember, I told you it must start with a business problem. We're only using Power BI as a tool to handle the business problem. So that's why I came up with this question that can be answered with this data. Your question must be able to be answered with the data. Otherwise, you won't be able to do anything with it. So we want to know which year has the highest total sales so that we can, the company can make some decisions on what to do and all of that. Which month, which day of the week has the highest total sales? Which category of product has the highest total sales and all of that? Okay, which states? Maybe if it's possible, we look at which states, if there are not too many, or which region has the highest total sales. So these are the questions we're interested in. But the goal is to build a sales report. All right. So now, what we normally do most times, although we have the other dates in our data, which we can use, but you can also create a separate date column, a separate date table. And this is mostly useful for those who use fiscal calendar. I don't know if you know some companies, their fiscal year start from August, some start from June. Remember, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. So we could do, so in that case, you may need to create a separate date column if you have that. So how do we do that? So we are already in the column tools. You can, so let me go to this guy. So we have the table tools. We can click new table. So if we click new table, so this is where what people call DAX, you can begin to write a lot of it. I will just show you just a little. So let's say we want to create a new table called dates. Is a new table, but we want to, so we want Power BI to give or to look at the table we already have, the orders table, and come up with the calendar year for us based on the dates we have in the table. Power BI can do that. So we can do, there's a DAX function called calendar auto, which is stand for automatic. You can say it's a fiscal year end of month. So what is it going to do? It's going to return a table with one column of dates calculated from the model automatically. When you say model, it means the original data we have. So even if I don't put anything there, if I just do this, you see, it comes up with it automatically. I don't need to put anything inside. Do you see that? So if I obviously don't want to the time, I can later remove that from the, if we click transform and change it to just date, we can do that.
Sir.
Go ahead, sir.
Sorry to pull you.
No, go ahead.
You typed 1, then space dates, right?
No. This one is actually that's the beginning. PowerBI, that's the beginning. Because I'm trying to press back. It's
Okay.
PowerBI that I put 1, like that's the first expression.
Okay, first, okay.
Yeah.
So the dates, you are the one who typed the dates.
Yes, that's the name of the
column.
The column.
Then the next one is this space equal to?
You don't have to. It's just for readability. It's
okay.
just equals to, yeah, and this function, calendar.
Okay.
Just for readability, yeah.
All right.
Okay, so and then we can decide to add another column to it. Now, why do I want to look at the question? I said, which year has the highest total sales? If we go to others, we only have date. Even though the date contains year, but we want to have a separate column that can carry year for us. So I can decide to add column to my date table. So I can click new column. Now it's adding a column. So let's give it a name. Let's call it year. Okay. And then, so PowerBI has a function called year that can get this one. So if I do year, and then see, it tells me it returns the year of a date as a 4-digit integer, like 2014, like that. So if I will need to pass in the table I want. See, it tells me the date. Which date? There is a table now called date, right?
Yeah.
So, but inside this date table, we already have a date column. The table is called date, but we have a date column inside of it. So we are saying extract the year out of the date column. That's what we are doing now. So if I press enter, I don't need to memorize this formula. Once I'm only supplying the date column, the date table, okay? But to pass in the column, I need to put a square bracket. Immediately I put square bracket, PowerBI suggests for me, okay, you mean the date column inside the date table.
Inside the date table.
Yeah, the one inside the square bracket is the column. The one outside here that you saw inside code is the table name. Okay. So, and then I can click enter. Now, you can say it extract the year for me. We can do that for the month. Okay. And then click new column. So, okay, I want the column. I will click new column. New column. Now I want the month, but I want the month as a name like January in text. So I can decide to use, so what we can do is that we can give PowerBI a format that we want to use. Okay, what's the format? Look at it. Immediately I type in, you can see what PowerBI is. It's giving me hint on what to do. Now inside this, I need to specify the value, the format. It said convert a value to text in the specified number format. What's this value? I'm actually, it's still the column dates, and then the date column, that's the value there. But what's the format? The format for the month in names in text is 4 M's, which stands for, if I put 2, it's going to give me a number. But if I put the M stands for month, but I want 4, the meaning in text. That's all I need actually. Yeah. So if I press enter, you see that now. So I have January, February, like that. We can do that we can create another column for maybe day of the week. Why am I doing it? Because we have a question that says, what day of week? You can say, my question is what is determining what I'm doing. Yeah, so it has to be based on the question. Okay, so now we can put day of week. I'm just naming it, so you can choose your name. So we can actually put day. I think Power BI also have weekday. You can say weekday, the same format. But instead of that, we could still use that format idea. That format and put others, date of this date, but I want that will be DDDD. We stand for day. Now, you see now, I have the day here for me. Let's say we want the month to be in number, we can create another column for that. Let's call that month number. This is optional. So we can say, we can now use the month instead of the format. We can use the month because that month will return the number for us. We can do that from formats too, but we will not use 4M. We'll use 2. But we can just do that directly from month column. We just put the date. So there are several ways you can do that. So if I click this, you can say, and now I have month number like this. Any questions so far, please? Is this clear?
Yeah.
All right. So let's go to the relationship view and see, is there any relationship between this guy? Is there any relationship? What of the dates? The other dates. Let's see if there is if we can use the other dates in this guy as the date. Let's see. Is there a relationship? Yeah, there is. You can see the new table we created, maybe I could see that, okay, there is a relationship between them, actually. So, and once I hover on it, it shows the okay, the other date and this. So now we can go ahead and create our visualization. Questions so far? Are we okay? Okay, so if we are good, let's go to the report view and start our visualization. So we want to use this tool. Remember, the first question is, which year has the highest total sales? Which year? So what 2 columns do we need based on this question? Which columns do we need?
Years and sales.
Years and sales. Now watch, we have sales. Look at what Power BI gave us. It gave us as a sum of a column. We can use it, but I want to show you how to create a measure in Power BI. And why is it necessary? This measure, it saves space, 1. 2 is that it also helps when you are trying to share, when you are trying to create complex work. So I will do something called measure, and I will calculate it from these sales. We could be using this total sales, but we want to create a measure as a calculation that we'll be using. So I can click new measure. Let me call it total sales, because that's what that sign, this sign you are seeing here, this sign means total actually. But let's create it explicitly. Exactly. So this is what people call DAX. These are actually part of DAX, writing, formula and all of that. So sum of what? Remember, this sales, which table is it from? Which table is this sales from?
Yeah.
Which table is this sales from? Remember, we want to create a measure called total sales, but we want to create it from a particular column called sales. But where is this sales located? In which table? Is it in date or orders? So we need to type that. As soon as we type orders, say Power is giving us a list of all the columns. So we can click order sales. That's all. So once we do this, we now have a new measure. But see, look at the mistake now. It actually puts it in the date column. That's why before you create your measure, you need to click the table you will need. So let me remove this guy. Let me delete it. Okay. Yeah. So I want to click my orders table before I do the new measure. Okay. So I'll just do the same thing. So that's why you need to always know where the measure is going. So we do sum of orders, and then Power BI give us orders of the sales. Okay, now we have the orders, where is it? We have the total sales. Do we have it already? Yeah, we have the total sales. Notice how it looks like a calculator or something behind. So that's a symbol for measure. So I've shown you how to create a measure too. Now we can go back to our report view, which is, and then let's answer this question. Which year has the highest total sales? Now, so someone said we need the year and the total sale, but the year is coming from the date, right? So the year, you have something like this. So, and then we have the highest total sales. So click on this. Now this, look at what Power BI is giving me. This is not what I want. So I need to move the year. I want the year to be in the axis. So just move it there. You see that? So I can click this guy. I'm using the stacked bar chart.
Okay.
So this tells me that, oh, 2017 was where we have the highest total sales compared to 2014. If you over on it, it tells us what we have compared to 2016, 2015, and 2014. So we can reduce it if we want. Okay, are we good?
Yeah.
All right, so we answered that. What the second one says, which month? Okay, which month do we have the highest? So to create another one, you have to click outside the first one. And then let's go to month in the date column first. So let's click on month. You can see why I created a new one. And then you can drag it to this point. And then click the total. So I'm using my measure now. So, but I want it in line chart, say line chart. So, but notice what's going on. It didn't order it from January or things like that. So even if we decide to sort the data here, the data is sorted by total sales in descending order or something like that. So let's go back to our data view. Let's go back to the dates column. Let's see if I can sort this column by month number. So let's see if anything has happened. Nothing. Let's sort this data by a month, and not just a month. Let's see if we can sort it in ascending order. This is not still what I want. Let's see. So let me sort this table now. So we already sorted by month number. So let's see. Although there's no problem, we know we have the highest in November. So it just depends on how we want to sort it. So I'm sorting it by month in ascending order. Okay, so but it doesn't really matter what we want to use. So suppose I use this, but let's just keep it at sorting by the month, but in ascending order. So, but if you look at this, it looks like the highest we have here is from the month of November. So we could do that. Okay. Please feel free to ask questions at any point. We could also pick another one Is someone
Please,
trying to ask a question?
yes,
Okay,
sir.
go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Please, I noticed something when you sort it by descending and ascending order.
Yes. See, it's still
Is it-
November.
Yes, but when you sort it by descending order, it looks somehow as if December has the highest.
This is descending now. See, this is descending.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. See, November, it's still November. Whether you sort in the descending order. Do you understand, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Any other question? Okay. Now we can look at what day of the week as the highest total sales. We have all of this information. You can see it's easy because we have created a new stuff for us. So we can have this. Wait, let me reduce this one a bit. Okay, so what day of the week? So I can come to orders and pick my total sales or no. So I can click on this and click delete because that's not what I want to do. This is because I click outside. So you have to make sure you click inside the box and then click total sales. And then we can use different charts here. We can use a star column chart, a star column chart, depends on how you want it. So this is giving us the total sales by day of the week. If you look at this, it looks like Monday and Friday appears to be the same. But yet we don't know whether across all the years, right? But we'll filter that. But and it's like Wednesday has the lowest total sales. But we don't know whether this is for all the months or for all the day. If I click this month, February, you can see it filter it. It looks like for September, they are almost the same. For October, for November, oh, it looks like this is actually for November, what we are saying. What about for May, for June? So it looks like November is actually where we're having the, okay, November and February. You can see those two are the one driving the sales, November and February. Yeah, no, even December, look at December, August, April. So let's go back, right? So you can see that. So you can write a lot of your report. Go ahead, you have a question? You have a question? Okay, but we can filter it. Actually, we can create a what we call a slicer to be helping us to do that. Okay, so we can use the year as a slicer. Suppose we want to use the year as a slicer, we can click this guy here and click, see the slicer in your visualization. This is the slicer. That's something like the funnel here. If we do this, we can now say, oh, we want it as a list instead of in this something. We can click list, and that will put that. And then we can just drag it and go and come and put it here. Okay, so that is up to us how we want to. And then you can say we can use this slicer to be slicing. So instead of clicking the visual, so this can be our slicer. So you can see that there is no data in 2018, actually. The data is mainly from 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017. Okay. All right. So okay. Any questions so far? Are we doing good?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's look at another one. What category of products has the highest total sales? Sorry, I'm trying to beat the time. That's why maybe if I happen to be a little bit fast. So what category of product has the highest total sales? Category is actually in order. So what category? So we can click category, okay, and then we can click highest total sales. So we can click total sales. Now, let's use a donut chart for this. So this is what we call a donut chart. So this, why am I using donut chart? Because I mean, there are a few categories here. So this we highlight it for us. We can see that this is the technology, but we can later break this down in our data to know, because technology also has some subcategories of products that we categorize as technology. Okay. So, go ahead and ask question, please. Go ahead. Okay. That's someone was trying to ask a question. So you can see that technology has highest total sales, and it gives us the value there, followed by the office. I think that's the office supplies, and then the last one is the furniture. Okay, but we can later check the category, the subcategory, to know what is actually, which part of technology is driving it. But let's go ahead with the question. We have which state has the highest total sales? Now, I want you to observe that my report is about a single thing. What's the thing? Sales. That's how each report should be. If you want, so I can put sales report. If you want your report to be about profit, that should be a different report. And you can click plus here. You can click plus to create a new report. A single report should be about a single thing. Don't put information on profit, sales. That's why all my questions are centered around sales. You see that? That's how to create reports. Okay, just take note of that. All right. So we have the another question that says which state? Which state? Okay. So states, do we have anything like that? Yes, we have states. Okay. So let's see. We have states. I'm not sure if anything is showing here. I would have expected a map, but I don't know if it's showing something like that. Okay, so if it's not, I don't know, that could be, I think that was, I put maybe not, because I saw that maybe based on the number of states, could be that's why. But I would have expected it as a map to show which state. Let me try country and see, does it show? No. Okay, let's go to the next question and see. Which region has the highest total sales? Okay, so let's click region. Yeah, we have region here, and then we can click highest total sales. So we can use a stacked bar chart just how we did before. So we can see that it looks like the West, even if it's 2014, it still looks like the West still has the highest total sales. Even if it's 2015, the West, it looks like more sales are still coming from the West. 2016, the West is East is very close to West, but still the West is leading. So you can derive a lot of analysis from here. So it looks like more sales happens in the West. So you can see that, something like that. So the last thing I want to show, remember I said I want to break this category down. So I can just put a table there, okay? So inside this table, I can put my category just like I did before and the total sales. But I want it as a matrix. So let me see. No. Let me see if we can format it and so my category, let's see. Nope, that's not what I want. Okay, so Yeah, I will want to break it down. Maybe I should use subcategory instead of category. Let me put subcategory alongside with it. So now I want it here. Yeah, this is what I want. So that I can click. I could actually make this a little bit bigger. Let me see if I can do format and do size. And click the size. Yep. Yeah, that's fine. So you can say I click the format and then type the size of it. Yeah, so what I want here is just to be able to break it down by subcategories. So that what I did was to, after the category, I also have subcategory. So that in the technology, which product, let me sort this, sort by, let's sort by total sales. So we can say when we sort by total sales, it's still giving us the same information as what we have in the donut chart, that the technology is the one that has the highest, and which part of the technology is the phones. See, the phones is actually the one that carries the highest, that is actually driving this, followed by the machines, the accessories. What about in the furniture? The furniture is the last, but still the chairs happens to be the top one there. Okay. Yeah. What about, I mean, not the furniture, the last. The one that is the last is the office supply. Let's see the office supplies. Storage happens to be at least the top in there. So the technology, so I'm still having the same information as what we have in the donut chart here. Any question, please? I can, if I want it here. Okay, so, and I can increase this where I want. Any question, please? Are we good? So
Yeah.
what we can now do, suppose we can add, the company's logo and all of that. So we can click insert. Since this is a report, we can, if you have a logo, let's say I have the Highly Tech logo, I can put that, use that, drag that here. Drag that here. Okay, and then we'll insert a text box and just type, let's type sales reports, sales performance reports. And then we can increase the, let's increase the size, maybe to 40. Oops, where did it go to? Okay, so just highlight and increase the size to 40, make it big. And then we can, oh yeah, let's drag it up. Increase this guy here. Okay, and then we can change the color based on our background and all of that. So because I want it to something that would tally with Highly Tech color, I can just choose a light. Let me see. So this is more like a science, arts now, more like instead of science. Let me see. Yeah, I think this may blend. It depends on what you want. So you can decide to play around the colors or something like that. So it depends on what you want at this point, how you see the color and all of that. So it actually depends on you. So I think I will prefer this. So yeah, this is how we can do that. So this is more like a sales report. If you want the background, different background, you can click the view and you can play around this tab, play around them. It depends, but something I personally normally like something so simple and that will be very clear to that we highlight everything. I don't really want like fancy, something too fancy that it will not, because remember we are trying to tell a story with this data. So it's not just about how fancy it is, it's about what you are trying to, the story you're trying to tell. So I could leave it like this, but in case you want to change the background, you are free to change. You are free to try out any one of them and see like that. Let me take question, because at this point, this is a sales report, sales performance report. So let me recap some of the things we have done, and I can take more questions like that. Remember, we first did data transformation, but not with this data. So we did how to change the data types, how to create new columns, new data, and all of those things, you know, merge data together, match tables, append rows, and then create relationships between the tables. And we also show how to create a new table, which we call a date table. We are creating it automatically from the table that already exists. And then we add more columns, and then we're using some DAX expression. We create a new measure called total sales. We could have decided to use this sales. It's still the same thing as this total sales, okay? But I personally prefer a measure, especially when you want to share your work. If you want to share your work with other teammates, you know, you may have to, you can see publish. Once you click publish, it's going to tell me, oh, do you want to save the changes? Yes. And then it's going to tell me where to publish it to. If I click save, it's telling me, so it's always a good idea to save your stuff. So when you save it, it's also going to save it with the data, everything you've done, both the report and the data. So we can click, we can say, okay, this is sales. Sales is going to end with .pbix. That's Power BI. So once I do that, let's say I did that in myself. Now it's telling me, okay, enter your email address, where you want to share it and all of that. So you must have created a Power BI account here for you to save it, and it will be your organization email. Okay, so but I'm not doing that here. Please let me take question before I show you how to load. Suppose I want to connect to data in my database, or I want to use Python. Let me take question at this point, please. Question on what we have done so far.
So if eventually maybe you shared, you already published.
Yes.
Like you have the sales performance report now, we finished, we published. And maybe there's a kind of new information that just came in, or maybe one discovers that you need to make some changes. I think it's possible to still go back to that report and adjust.
In fact, suppose we are loading this data from the company's database, and suppose they are updating it. All I need, I don't need to start from after. I will just click refresh. See. Right. You see, when I put refresh, I get the latest data by refreshing all the visuals in this room. It will refresh everything. It will add more data, but it's going to apply. It's all of those steps we applied when we did this. Suppose we clean it, it's going to apply everything to the new data. That's the beauty about Power BI that you can't get in Excel. It will apply all of the steps, the cleaning, the transformation to the additional data. Is apply them. Yeah. So we can, we just have to come and refresh, and that's all. In fact, if you have a Power BI account, there is a way to set it to automatically refresh for you. That you won't be the one to, it will be refreshing by itself as is new data are coming in. Yeah. Any other question, please? Do I answer you, sir?
Yeah, yes, thank you.
Any other question, please? Any other question? Mr. Adam? Mr. Timothy?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Any question?
My question
is...
Go
ahead. Okay, go ahead. Yes, sir.
Is there a limit to amount of data that you can import onto the Power BI? Let's say number of columns or number of rows. Is there a maximum number of data that you can import?
No, sir. There's no limit. That's why, you know, in Excel, there's a limit. If you go beyond 1.8 rows, you can't do that in Excel. So, and that's why Excel cannot take more than 1.8 something million rows. But that's why, suppose to be your database, you can load, you know, millions, 100 million data. That's why Power BI also gave a way to connect to your, even you can load data from the web to connect with your database. And I can do that from here. So there is no limit, sir, to answer your question. So suppose it's my SQL. I'll just click this guy and it's going to ask me for my server. Since the server is in your company, you will have a server. But for us, suppose you have installed my SQL. The server is on your desktop and it's called localhost. Okay? And the database, you need to have a database. Now, for instance, this is my SQL. Okay? I have a database called Vanny Manufacturer. Okay?
Okay.
So this is that's the day. Suppose that's what I want to bring in. I can even tell Power BI what I want to do with it. Like, oh, show the databases I have. I can, let's say I say, okay, use Vanny Manufacturing. All of this we teach in the course I said coming in, but because of the time, I can't really teach everything here. So if I tell you to use Vanny Manufacturing, and then I say, okay, select everything from what are the tables. I can even tell you to show me the tables. I've answered your question. I'm only using the opportunity to show you how to connect to other sources, okay?
Yes,
so,
I understand.
Yeah, there is no limit. So suppose I want to show from customers, I have customers, and then I can say, okay, sorry, I may be a bit fast here. So we have customer number and all of that, but I also have other tables. Let me show the tables again. I have the maybe orders. So let me put in another one. So I can join and all of those things. So, but suppose I just want to bring the customer from my database. Suppose this customer. So I can tell Python. I can tell Power BI to just. I can use this query inside Power BI. I'll go to my Power BI, tell it my database name called Vanny Manufacturing. And I can even help it by saying, okay, use this SQL statement. Say select everything. This time is everything from customers. If I do this, it's going to tell me, okay, see, it loads it. See, this Power BI telling me my local host is Vanny Man. This is my server name. This is the database name. And it's now telling me all of the tables inside the customer table. So I can click load transform just like how we have done it. I can do that here. So if you have most times companies store very large data inside their database. So in that case, we don't need to connect with Excel or Workbook. We just connect to the database just this way. So the company will supply you the server name and the database name. They may even give you your own username and password. So you need the server name and the database. Once you have those two information, you can connect to that data and then you can click transform data like we have done at the very beginning. Does this make sense for everybody?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I don't know if time permits me to show you how to use Python to do that, but we can do that too. If I suppose you have Python installed, we can actually click more and then click go down. I can search for Python if I don't want, or order. So if I do that, if you click order, I think I should have, let me see if I have Python. Okay, Python scripts. If I click this guy, tell me connect. Now you want me to write a script. Now I won't go deep into it. So if suppose I have a data here, so this is the data. So I suppose I want to bring in this MPG and I know the path. I copy the path. Okay, let me come to my Power BI. in Power BI, so these are some of the things we'll show you. There are libraries on how to use a Python to load your data. So one of it is called pandas. I'll just import my pandas as PD. So, and then I will, let's say this is my path. So this is the path I just brought in. This is the path that I just brought in. So I need to remove this double one. I'll put R, but I won't go into detail. I'm using R because this is, instead of forward slash, is giving me backward slash. So I'm telling Python that read it as a raw string. I won't go into detail, please. Just bear with me. So let me call this, the data is called MPG. So I will do my PD because I say import pandas as PD. See, it's a CSV file, so I will say, okay, read underscore CSV, and I'll pass in the path that I just placed there. If I want to do all of that things, I want to filter it, I want to just pick only 2 columns, I can do that here. But suppose I want to bring in everything, I'll just click OK. See, he said, please wait while we establish a connection. You can see, it detected it. So if I click this, see my data. So now I can bring in my data and do everything from there without, so there are different ways. So this way now, if you are coming from a programming background, Python, you can do that here. Even R, for those who are coming from R background, we can do all of that. So I can click, transform and all of that. And I can go ahead to do everything I've shown you from the very beginning. All of the transformation and all of that. I'm sorry for if I happen to be a little bit fast, it's because another training is coming up in 5 minutes. So like I told you, if you really, I mean, there's no way I can teach everything in 2 hours at a time. Okay, but I just want to show you a preview of something that is interesting in this field, this data analytics field, which I think there was even a guy in the US, I stay in the US, he only had HND, he doesn't even study in the US. It's not even coming from this admin, he doesn't even have any background at all in programming. He took the data analytics course the last October to December. The truth is this guy, after the 3 months, obviously he put in some work. I always tell people, you have to put in the work. He put in the work, he never missed any class. And after he applied for a data analyst job here. He actually got a full-time 2 weeks ago, full-time with nothing less than minimum of $7,000 per month here with just these 3 months. He didn't study in the US. I am studying in the US. I've done master and PhD, but he didn't, but still with 3 month training, but putting in the work, practicing and doing all the projects, this guy did. So what am I trying to say? I'm not only canvassing you to take the course, but I'm also showing you, even right there in Nigeria, right there anywhere, if you want to migrate into a field, you really need to invest into it. And there is a lot. So, so if you want to learn more sincerely, we're starting a class from next week. You can enroll for it. You can enroll for it. And I can tell you that iLitech is actually the cheapest one. Is the cheapest because I don't think there are people offering 3.5 months training for 70,000 naira. And not just, even there is an option of installments to pay it in 2 installments. So we are not only, we are building a community of data analysts and data scientists. I am a data scientist. More of my work are more on machine learning and all of that. So I focus on the data science part. Okay. That's why even this course, I'm not the one taking I'll only take the Python part. The person taking all of this one I'm showing you is teaching in Lagos Business School. But I do all of this in my day-to-day work too. So that's why I just wanted to show you all of this. But I deal with the machine learning, artificial intelligence, and all of that. But so that's it. I don't know if you have, let me leave a room for 1 or 2 questions and then we'll call it a day. But I hope that you learn 1 or 2 things today in Power BI. That will be my job. Not even that you enroll for the course, but that you learn 1 or 2 things. I hope that expectation is met. I hope.
Yes, yes, we have.
Okay.
Yes, we have learned.
All right. So if you have questions, I have 1 minute to leave this. I can take that. Otherwise, I wish you a good rest of the day.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay. Please, my question is the cost.
Yes.
You said 70,000 naira, and we have an option of paying instrumentally. But what's the cost? What does it cover? Is it just the Python and the data analysis only? Which other one?
So if you go to the website, let me see, data analytics, data science with Python. See, so it covers Excel, it goes deep into Excel. So this is the person taking it. You say, we're going to learn Excel, MySQL, particularly data normalization, all those joins I mentioned. We're going to do Python and even visualization in Python, cleaning and all of that. Excel, it covers all of the different Excel, even more than what you have here. And then in Power BI, it's going to do all of the things I've done and even deeper, and Power Query, the DAX in details, managing relationships, dashboard, and all of that. And I think we're also hoping to add just a single class for those who want to structure their resume and LinkedIn platform. So these are the curriculums that we offer for those 3.5 months. Do I answer your question? Huh?
This particular package is how much now?
That's the one I told you. It's 70,000 naira. So yeah, if I click login and go to courses, see, so okay, this is the one we're having today. See, where is it? 70,000 there? Yeah, and it starts next week. Yeah, and it's 3.5 months actually. Yeah. To answer you, sir.
So the instrumental payment, is it twice?
Yes. Yes. All right, sir. Okay, so if there is nothing more, I think we can. I hope I answered you, sir. Right? All right. Okay. All right. So I want to wish everyone. I want to really wish you a good rest of the day. Okay. All right. Enjoy your day. Thank you so much for showing up today. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, sir. Bye. All right.
Have a nice day.
You too, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.